Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm gonna do an updated Maplestory class tier list post the Neo update. And I know I got a lot of crap for the last one because I kind of just said a class was trash and didn't really explain why. So in this video I'm gonna do my best to explain my thought process behind every single class, and why I give it that ranking. Please bear with me. If you guys disagree, go ahead. If you guys do disagree with any of my reasonings, go ahead and leave a comment down below, telling me what I overlooked, something I might have missed. Because I have played a majority of these classes past level 200, but obviously, personal bias may or may not hinder these opinions. So hopefully every class is here. I'm pretty sure every class is in here. The only one that's obviously not in here, that's Kane. Um, and I'm probably just gonna give my opinions on Kane at the very end. So if you guys want to hear that, um, I wouldn't say skip to the very end because I don't even know when it's gonna be. But I guess we can just go ahead and start off here with Blaster. And honestly, Blaster gets a lot of crap in my personal opinion. They do a ton of DPS. It's a very, very difficult combo class to play. So I'm gonna give it an A rank. Especially because I'm looking specifically at its DPS. It has super high DPS. Comboing with his punches actually does a ton of damage. You can actually see like solo videos of blasters doing like bosses at like relatively low stat compared to the requirements for other classes. And people say his training is bad, but he actually has a tornado skill that sucks in monsters and can hit multiple platforms. So it's actually pretty good for training. Up till 210, I believe. It was actually faster than a lot of a majority of the classes on this list for me. But again, that's my personal opinion. He's super good at bossing, decent. Obviously not as good as Adele at training, but he's okay. Mobility wise, I know he has a flash jump, which is pretty good. um, and yeah, next we'll go on to Kadena. Now Kadena again, I'm probably gonna give her an A rank too, just because Kadena, super, super good DPS. Um, Obviously it's another combo class, and if you have a cooldown hat, I believe, her skill cooldowns go down a little bit, and I think that helps boost DPS, especially because she has a bunch of short cooldowns. Um, I got mine to level 200, so I didn't really get a chance to try out the training at the higher maps, but I don't think they're that bad just because of how mobile the class is. So even at maps like 1-5, I think Kadena can do pretty well jumping around and attacking. Again, don't know much, but that's just my personal opinion. Next, Pathfinder. I think a lot of you probably already know Pathfinder. Super good at mobbing, does a lot of damage. That's pretty consistent. It's not like some classes that just have one burst and then they're AFK for their burst cooldown. But it's pretty good damage. It actually ranks pretty low in the KMS DPM charts, and I think a part of that has to do with the fact that KMS has a different attack speed cap than us, so Pathfinder actually gets hurt because it's one of the archers that doesn't have a hurricane skill, or at least it doesn't use hurricane skill as its main attack, so actually gets destroyed in the rankings because of that. But otherwise, training's insane. You can literally hold down one button and your arrows will do everything else for you. Super cracked. And then look, another class, Arc. I don't know if you guys have seen um, Arc post Neo. There's a KMS video out there where a guy literally presses Arc's burst skill and phase 3 hard will just disappears. Now, obviously, any class can do that given that they're sufficiently strong enough, but Arc is crazy. They're super mobile. They have a skill that launches them, you know, kind of like halfway through a map, depending on what map you're in. It's another I don't know if it's a combo class, so to say, but it does use a variety of skills. The class itself looks super edgy. I mean, look at that Spectre mode. If that's not edgy, I don't know. I guess Kane might beat it. But yeah, super super mobile, super strong. I personally hate training this class, which is why I want to rank it a much lower. But that's like a personal bias that I'll have to get over. Next class, Angelic Buster. I want to put it in between B and A. So I'll probably put it in A just because Angelic Buster has very good, um, very very good. What am I saying? Has a not very good, but it has a pretty good link skill. It gives you like 60% damage. Actually, let me double check that before I give you guys wrong information. Um, but yeah, at level 2 it gives you 60% at level 3 it gives you 60% damage. So when your AB is at level 210, the skill can be reset by a cooldown skip, um, which can make it potentially insane, especially if you skip it throughout your entire burst. Training on this class is OP. You have a ton of full map summons. You have your orbs that just fly around the map and kill everything. Training is super good, given of course you one shot, two shot with it. And then I think bossing it's also pretty good because the class hits hard. People might say I'm wrong, but my personal opinion, I think this class hits hard. It's not line story, but with your orbs and Trinity, the combo, I think it's pretty strong. Next is Aaron. Honestly, I think I give Aaron a really bad ranking in my last one, but I think Aaron deserves an S rank. Post Neo with the damage cap removal, Aaron hits cap pretty easily, in my personal opinion. And now that that cap's gone, Aaron hits a lot harder. It's better than it was before because now you don't have to actually combo your keys in order to use his skills. So yeah, training super nice because he can glide throughout a whole map pretty fast while he's attacking. So in long maps like below the cave, maybe even 1-5. However, I think standing still 1-5 might be better. Um, but mobility is good. He has a vertical, like his ice thing that launches him upward. He has a flash jump. I also forgot to mention for Angelic Buster, she has a double flash jump, which is cracked. Um, Battle Mage, honestly, I'm not gonna lie because I haven't played Battle Mage that much, so I'm gonna give him a B rank, solely because Battle Mage has a pretty freaking sick um, link skill called Spirit of Freedom, I believe. Yeah, Spirit of Freedom basically gives you um, an iframe when you die and you respawn. So during that respawn, you gain about, I want to say, like 1 second per level. So if you have Master level 8 for the 4 resistances, you get 8 seconds of invincibility. And each, obviously, Master level 2, so each resistance class can give you 2 seconds worth. And I think that is invaluable for most classes. I'm not going to speak so much on his damage because I don't really know that well. What his damage output is like, but that's my opinion. Beast Tamer, I'm gonna give this an S rank. Super good party buffs. I honestly don't know about its training and damage, but it's a mage class with a flash jump. That's always a bonus. I really don't like using teleport, and I think flash jump is the only way to go. Um, but yeah, besides all the party buffs, I think Beast Tamer is pretty good at mobbing. The bear farts will carry. The jaguar makes you super mobile, etc., etc. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it an S rank. Hate me if you want. But yeah, Bishop. I honestly love this class, but I'm gonna rank him down, and I'm gonna put Bishop in the A rank. Um, Apparently, bossing on this class is atrocious. Damage improved drastically with Neo because it caps hard, especially when you have Benediction and when you have Infinity on. Training is actually not that bad. Shout outs to my boy Niru, number one. Let's go. Um, but yeah. And also another big bonus for Bishop is of course the link skill as well as the um what you call it, the party buff benediction. So that gives your whole party a flat final damage buff, and then based on the bishop stats, that buff increases based on how much extra additional stat the bishop has. And I think When I boss with a bishop, it's anywhere from like 40 to 50% final damage or something like that. Absolutely huge. It's on a 3-minute cooldown too, so it's actually coincides with a majority of a class's bursts. So that's very, very good. Next class is Blaze Wizard. Now I love this class because it is very good when it comes to GPQ, for now anyways. So Blaze Wizard has a skill. Summon it, it puts a fiery circle. Um, uh, I'm out of one more row. Sorry about that. Puts on the fire circle that gives the whole party member attack speed and damage. Super good for GPQ. Now I say it's good for now because GPQ will turn into a solo thing, so this party buff kind of goes away. Don't bother. Now a lot of people gave me crap for this, but there is at least one class that belongs here, and I think everybody knows which one it is. Next class is Bowmaster. Honestly, I think I'm gonna give this class a B. I don't think, it's actually that bad damage-wise. I think, the damage output of this class with Hurricane, the raining arrows, and all of the 5th job skills that Nexon gave it is actually pretty good. And the training isn't bad either. I just feel like the class is like kind of clunky, especially with the way arrow platter works and all that. So I'll give it a B rank. Link's skill is kind of useless as the Explorer, Bowman, Archer one, which is, eh. It's really whatever. Um, but yeah, that is all I have to say about Bowmaster. Buck, I'll probably rate Buck in the same category. Buck is super good once he gets, I believe the skill is called Lord of the Deep, a dragon that kind of spins around you. Uh, Damage output is actually really good and really strong too. I don't know, something about it. It feels like the class is like not as good as it can be. It's overshadowed by the next class I'm gonna go over, which is Cannoneer. But training isn't bad with Lord of the Deep. Damage is actually pretty good. There's just nothing special about it that gives it the higher A rank or S rank. Now keep in mind, although B rank is the second to worst rank, it's actually like still not bad. Like the class is still playable and whatever. Cannoneer, double S rank. I don't care what anybody says. Being able to summon, the bullet bills is good for training, good for bossing. He has a super long range main mobbing skill. Does a ton of lines. Does like a bajillion not full map clears, but like has summons that'll help clear. It's just cracked, honestly. I think this class is super sick. Hits pretty hard too, and does a bunch of lines, especially if you can shoot off all 3 of the bullets, consecutively. Has a vertical jump. Has a super insane mobility. Not, I don't know if it's mobility. I think it's mobility where he can like vertical jump and flash jump, and it propels him even further, or flash jump and then vertical jump, which is crazy. Next class, Corsair. I'm gonna give this a C. I wanted to like this class. Has a bunch of good summons. The 5th job skills are actually pretty decent for training. I just feel like the class is so underwhelming. I trained it and the summons made things easier, but again, you still use that same octopus skill when your 5th job, like explosion skill, is on cooldown. So it's kind of, whatever. I want to like this class, but I can't get myself to like it, if that makes any sense. Next class up is Dawn Warrior. I honestly think Dawn Warrior is such a sick class, which is why I'm gonna give it A rank, S rank, A rank, S rank. I'll give it an S rank. I think just because of the new 5th job skill that Nexon gave it, he can, almost clear maps so much better, guys, because it's a skill that attacks, on a like interval, so like every couple of seconds or whatever it procs, and it's super large. They recently buffed, in my opinion, buffed their main, or I think what is now their main bossing skill. I think the skill is called River Styx. And it's that big purple sword that you can just spam because now it does a ton more lines, although it does less damage. And the problem with it before was that it capped too easily. So by I think they actually 4 or 5 times the number of lines on that skill. Not only is it better to boss with now, for people who were prior to this change capping, it actually increased their DPS with the skill. Top of that, they have a skill called Solar Eclipse that does a full map attack more or less. You can cast it again. It's also their iframe, and you can cast it again to make it explode and do a ton of lines. On top of that, they have another fifth job skill that's almost equally as good to River Styx in terms of bursting. And I think prior to all the changes, it was better than River Styx, but now, either way, it's just so crazy because it procs the new fifth job skill a bunch. Sorry, I don't know the name. But yeah, it's super good. I love this class and I wish I could play it, but I am locked in on one class. And now that I mention it, there's another class that's not here. I don't think Adele is here. Yeah, Adele's not in this list. Okay, interesting. Okay, that's another class I have to do. I don't think is Ho Young on this list? Oh man, Ho Young isn't on this list either. What in the world? Okay, so that's 3 classes that I'll go over. Um, and I'll probably timestamp it for the people who care. So that's Ho Young, Kane, and Adele, and I think that's all. Let me write that down so I don't forget. All right. Next class, Demon Avenger. I'm gonna give it a C. I really don't like this class. Honestly, before when you could spam the swords, it was kind of nice, but now next time I remove that, I couldn't figure out for the life of me. Because I think the fourth job mobbing skills are trash. The third job mobbing skill is like okay, but it's like why are you using a third job skill to mob with? Honestly, I don't like this class, and I think bossing is very underwhelming. And I think it's interesting because this class uses HP instead of any stat to boost his damage, and that's great. But increasing max HP doesn't really matter when every boss does percent damage with their attacks. So, got him. Next class, Demon Slayer. I'm ranking it at double S. I think this class is so sick. Blue Blood increases the number of lines. It has like 4 iframes, has a flash jump that you can toggle into a glide, or a glide that you can toggle into a flash jump. The skill art is super sick. Training is fine. You have a bunch of summons. You have a bunch of skills that you can use to clear the map with. There's a lot of variety. On top of that, it's absolutely sick at doing damage. Which is why Demon Slayer is, in my opinion, one of the best classes out there. For the next one, Dark Knight, rank in C. Now, honestly, I think Dark Knight is a fun class to play. I think, damage wise, it's actually not that bad either. I'm not a fan of a lot of Explore Warrior training. Now, I get this has a big eye summon and stuff like that that helps it kills mobs, but I think using I believe the skill is called Impale as the main mobbing skill is like kind of bad. And besides, if they didn't have the summon, like the class's mobbing would be trash. I believe they gave every Explore Warrior vertical jump and flash jump. Or they already had a flash jump, but they gave them all vertical jumps and they've all had flash jumps. So it's pretty good for mobility. I just think the class is really underwhelming for what it could be. Especially now that damage cap removal is gone, Hero hits so much harder. But yeah, I'll get to that when Hero is up. Dual Blade. I think this class is so sick. I've seen the ridiculously low stat dual blades kill the most ridiculous bosses. On top of that, you guys don't know this, but if you play dual blade, your in-game luck actually increases 80-fold. So, if you're super lucky, you might get 6 Source of Sufferings in like 3 months or 2 months. Yeah, don't ask me who, but if you're in Aurora, you probably already know who I'm talking about. Um, yeah. Their training sucks, but you can always, fix that by switching to a Night Lord. Night Lord's absolutely crazy at mobbing if your stars can one-shot at 1-5. It's a no-brainer. Unparalleled. Is Night Lord not on this list? 0. Oh, no, that was right here. Okay, never mind. I'm tripping. Super cracked. DPS is insane. Short cooldown on one of the main on the tornado skill, which does a ton of DPS. If you have a cooldown hat, GG, your DPS is gonna go through the roof. And yeah, right here I'm gonna add a list. Oh, sorry. Oop. Oh, I'm messing it up. Okay, I'm gonna add one right below this one. Because there's some classes that I believe strictly for one thing, and that is called a link skill. Actually, I can move this one down because it's not really a rank. It's just, the class's function. And I do that because Evan belongs here. Now, Evan as a class I think is super clunky. You have to press your dragon, then you have to press another combo skill so that it does a certain thing. It's super weird. I don't like it at all. The feel to the class is weird. Mobbing, of course, is fine. Your Mir can do a ton of AoE mobbing. But otherwise, I think the only thing that's redeemable about this class is once you get it to 210, you get a sick buff to your runes that increases your rune time from like 2 minutes to like 5 and something minutes, which is absolutely correct, especially for people who are training. Which is why I believe this class is a link skill class. Now next, it's probably the biggest jump because I believe in my last class tier list, I gave this a don't even bother. But Fire Poison Mage has since made its way to the double SS. I don't care what anyone says after Neo. Class is known to hit hard, and it does. It hits so hard, and it used to hit the damage cap so easily. And now that Neo is coming, the damage cap is now 150 billion. This class is unleashed. It does a ton of damage. Training isn't bad. And if you really wanted to, you could switch to an Ice Lightning Mage, which for some ungodly reason everyone thinks is better at farming. And for the early app maps, it might be true. Fire Poison Mage might be better at Ice Lightning Mage might be better at like maps like CLP. But once you get to like 1-5, I actually think Bishop is better than Ice Lightning Mage. You can comment down below if you're interested in hearing why. But there's also a video link that I can show you guys where Bishop is just absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Next, Hayato. I love this class. I think the last class skills are so sick. I might have given it a lower ranking before, but because the class does, I think, very few lines, but it hits very hard. That's my opinion anyways. Training's not bad. You have your Susano skill that's absolutely sick. And, training is absolutely cracked if you can maintain your swords. Oh man, I forgot what it's called. But, like, it's kind of like a mana bar for his sword. I love playing this class, but I can't main it because I think the brain gap is too big for me anyways. That's pretty much all I have to say. Hard hitter, especially now thanks to Neo damage cap. Training is good, but at the same time there's not really. Actually, fuck it. This can be in the A section. This class is sick. Next class is gonna be Hero. I'm gonna give this class an S rank. Hear me out. I know some people are gonna what do you call it? Disagree with me. Hero hits so hard, so much final damage, such a short cooldown iframe. But obviously, next one before I go into the cons actually. Next one gave it a vertical jump, so it can vertical jump and then flash jump. It's honestly almost, and I mean almost everything you could ask for in a class. Now, this class doesn't have a class bind, which sucks. Class can't, self-heal as a hero. It's kind of weird. And there isn't really much utility for the class. But this guy fucking hits hard when he's on burst. And I think that's also another downside is I believe his burst is 4 minutes, whereas most classes are 3, and I think for good reason. But yeah. Next class is Ilium. I'm gonna give Ilium a B. It's pretty good at mobbing. DPS is actually rather good too. But the classes I think is kind of clunky, especially with how you have to control the orb and how that's gonna depend on how your skills bounce around and do damage. It has a pretty sick, animation after a certain point where you max out your orb and you like start flying with like golden wings and you start shooting out these lasers. It's super cool, but it's kind of underwhelming at the same time. But the link skill is great. For farming, I considered making an Ilium for farming just because I got sick of Adele, but now I can train on Adele. So yeah. Next is Ice Lightning. I'm gonna give this a B. The class hits hard, and honestly, I think the class has a lot of potential, but I think one of the biggest downsides, for me anyways, is that what was it? The class is like super underwhelming compared to, obviously like the newer classes like Adele and how hard they hit. And although Nexon is gonna give them a big rework, I think, it's pretty pretty good for them. I think there's like massive changes to one of their ice orbs that increases the damage a lot. But as for now, stays a B. Like I mentioned earlier, mobbing is better than most Explorer mages in the earlier levels. But once you hit 255 and you're at 1-5, I think this class actually falls off because of how hard you have to work to maintain optimal rates. Jet, don't even bother. Honestly, I don't know any redeeming quality about this class besides its link skill that you can get if you want to pay for a link skill after you already spend the time to level it up. And that's what I'm going to say. I don't like this class. DPS is meh. Link skills sucks that it's pay to win. Mobbing is eh. It's honestly subpar. And I don't think they're ever going to touch the class just because, KMS doesn't have it. So, yeah. Kaiser is pretty sick. I'm going to give Kaiser an A. He's pretty good at mobbing now with his 5th job skills, especially the new one. It's pretty similar to Adele's 5th job, new 5th job skill that has like summons an aura above him and swings around and does damage. DPS is insane. Honestly, love the class. I just hate that, transforming's on a cooldown. But I think the class would be too OP um, if you didn't have a cooldown on its final form. Kana, I think most of you know. If you know, you know. Kana, best class in the game. Kishin, good damage. OP party buff. Good, insane mobbing. Basically anything you want everything you want, Kana has. Good damage, good mobbing. Good utility, has healing. Trains for endless hours on reboot. Great farmer. Yeah, can't say anything bad about it. Kinesis has a really good link skill, but I think on top of that, it also has a really good burst. So I'm gonna give it a B. It's good for training. Has a pretty good mobbing. Um, yeah, honestly haven't played this class that much, so can't give it a super accurate review. Um, but yeah, if you want to play a unique class, I definitely think Kinesis is one of them. It has a flash jump for a mage, and for a mage, it's already pretty good. Luminous, I'm gonna give this an A. Luminous has sick mobbing. Burst is actually rather insane too. I think the class just has a lot of bad rap because you can't stay in light mode and spam reflection or whatever it's called forever, which it used to be able to do, but it changed it up so it actually optimizes the bossing, and if you good at control and you can actually train on it pretty efficiently too. At least that's my opinion. Link skill is also really good. It gives you IED, which some classes might need. And yeah. Marksman, said it before and I'm gonna say it again. Don't even bother. Honestly, if you like playing a class that hits pretty hard and has really good range, Marksman's the class for you. Honestly, I think its bossing is pretty underwhelming. The new 5th job skills are pretty sick, if I'm being honest, but I just think the class is so bad. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Haven't I really tried to give it a chance and I couldn't do it, so yeah. Mechanic, I'm gonna give an A. I think Mechanic is so sick. In terms of mobbing, they have those bots that send out a bolt of lightning that you can literally, if you one shot with, is absolutely cracked. Burst is pretty insane too. It has pretty good damage output. Um, Only thing that I don't like is how clunky I believe the mechanic suit feels, which is nothing really we can do about that. I think that's probably why it's not getting an S rank. But the class is pretty good overall. Whew, okay, Mercedes. I'm gonna give this an A rank. Mercedes, super sick combo class. The combo not only does it look aesthetic, but it actually dishes out a ton of damage. Training in the newest maps in Cernium are insane. Super high mobility, super good mobbing. Link skill gives you EXP, so it's absolutely essential. Everything about this class is just so sick. I just wish I had the brain capacity to do it because honestly, I don't think I can manage combo classes that well. Mihao, I want to put it in between Link skill and Don't Bother, just because the Link skill is vital for most classes, prevents you from getting knocked back. But besides that, this class has absolutely nothing going on for it. He's supposed to be Dawn Warrior's instructor, but he kind of just got left behind and now he's trash. That's all I can say. Nightwalker, A rank. Now, contrary to popular belief, Nightwalker is actually insane at mobbing. Okay. There's a freaking Reddit meme where someone was talking about how bad Nightwalkers were at mobbing. Mobbing's insane. Damage output's insane. It has more lines than Adele. The only downside is you actually have to jump and attack at the same time. I know it's quite a concept. But it actually does impair the class in some bosses, like Seek Loom, where your platform during your attacks are angled, so you start slipping as you're jumping. But you have a double flash jump. You have a vertical. You can vertical and then flash jump, etc., etc. Next up is Night Lord. I want to give this an S rank, but I just can't. Night Lord has absolutely insane burst for the 50 seconds or a minute where spread throws up and all your fit job skills are up. But after that burst, it's absolute trash. Damage output wise, farming super good. Night Lord's mark is absolutely one of the most insane mobbing. I want to say toggles in the game where you literally just attack and it does a whole bunch of damage, clears a whole bunch of mobs. If you one shot, I haven't seen rates that are better than Night Lord's at 1-5, so absolutely crazy. Class is super good class for beginner players. Um, but keep in mind luck gear is expensive, but I guess if you're in reboot that doesn't really matter. Pally, I'm gonna give this class a B. Pally got, I think, substantially better with its first job skills. It's super nice that they have a 30-second iframe that they can also give to a party member. So, support-wise, there actually is something going on for damage output is actually pretty good. And who doesn't want a 30-second iframe? Mobbing's actually not that bad either. You got hammers that roll around you, so you can actually clear decently well. At the newer maps, I still think Hero wins, but maybe with Cernium, when I say newer maps, I mean 1-5, but maybe at Cernium, Pally wins because the hammers that it can throw and have spinning around it. Phantom, I'm gonna give this a C rank. I think Phantom is underwhelming just because the class is super unique in the sense that it can steal skills, including Pally's 30-second iframe. But I feel like the damage output is so low compared to other classes. I think the class needs a buff. Because honestly, the concept is super good. It's just it's underwhelming in the sense of damage. Of course, mobbing is like pretty decent because it can steal other classes' skills. Um, Also gives a pretty good link skill that gives you crit rate for classes like Shade that are low on crit rate. Shade, I'm gonna give this an S rank. Shade is sick, soul split. So for some bosses that are not, planted on the ground, it can literally jump around and do a whole bunch of cool shit. Absolutely cracked. Um, Damage wise, it's obviously not the best in terms of DPS, but I feel it's fair. Training is meh. It's about average, I would say. It definitely requires a lot more work than some other classes. But actually, no. I think if I'm going with that, this definitely gets an A. Soul Split is very OP though, so if you can get a Shade in your party, I'd do it. Shadower, I'm also going to give an A. It has really good damage output, really good burst. Training is also cracked. It's better than Dual Blade, so if you don't want to get a claw for your Night Lord, you can go ahead and switch to Shadower and just use your dagger or whatever. Um, but yeah, mobbing good, damage good. Has smoke screen that's also pretty good for bossing. Um, Link skill is also good. It's the Thief Explorer link, which you pair with the Mage Explorer link. So yeah. Thunderbreaker's next class, don't bother. Nexon did some funny business, I think, like with how skills are registered, like server sided or client sided, I believe, and just absolutely destroyed their DPS. Um, so yeah, honestly, if you're playing a Thunderbreaker, if you enjoy the class, don't let me stop you. Just know that it's not as good as it used to be. Wild Hunter, I can't really talk much about, so I'm gonna put it in B. I think as of right now or recently, or up till recently, Wild Hunters Jaguars would lag the party, and when you're doing your burst and you need all your Jaguars summoned, sometimes they're in the randomest fucking random make useless parts of the map where they're not even doing anything. But honestly, I haven't played Wild Hunter that much to know the whole scale of it. Damage wise, I think they get a buff during the balance patch that's coming up soon. But for as right now, I think I'm gonna give it a B just because I can't justify it from my knowledge of the class anything higher. Wind Archer, I think it's cracked. I'm gonna give Wind Archer an S. Tons of arrows. Class concept is honestly pretty sick. Um, and I might be biased because I see Wind Archers out there doing insane damage, but the class does not have an iframe. Has a vertical and flash jump, of course. Link skill is okay. It's actually, I think it's the Cygnus Knight one, which gives you status resistance, which is pretty good. Um, yeah, super good damage. The mobbing isn't bad either. The class overall is honestly pretty fucking sick. Xenon, honestly, I don't know why this class is rated one of the lowest DPSs in KMS. But your main burst skill is a fucking iframe. You have a hypogram shield that does a ton of lines now and does hits relatively hard. Your newest with job skill is like pretty good for like random chunks of burst. Class is mobile. Class has summons that will help it train. Mobbing is good. Damage is good. I don't know why people say this class sucks. I played Xenon since it released up until last year when Adele came out. So I have played this class an awful lot. It has a double flash jump. I honestly think this class is super strong. It's just, falling behind, I guess. I think it's too unique in the sense that it's the only class that has 3 stats as its main stat. I think that honestly hurts it, but the fact that I can use Pirate Gear and Thief Gear, um, obviously you stick to one set, but like, if you find it having options depending on your budgeting, I think is very valuable. Zero, I'm gonna put zero in the SS. Insane at mobbing. Your lightning on the ground that if it can one shot is super good for mobbing. They Nexon recently gave Zero a line buff, so they can do more lines. They actually do a ton more lines. I believe Zero also has a special bind that it can reset, so some bosses might never even be able to move. No, I'm just kidding, but I honestly think Zero is so cracked. Does pretty good damage, super good mobbing, good utility. You can dash upward, you can flash jump, you can dash left and right, I believe, and you can just spam your up arrow key to stay in the air. I think it's cracked. Um, yeah, that finishes up all the classes for this tier list, but there's also 3 more that haven't gone over. So let's start in the order of oldest to new. So Ho Young, although you guys don't see it, I would put Ho Young in the SS rank. Ho Young does a ton of damage, ton of lines, hits hard, super good at mobbing because it has a bunch of summons. Class overall is just super sick. I've seen them train at 1-5 and they literally can talk because their summons will clear the whole map for like 30 seconds. Absolutely cracked. So I'd put that in the SS tier. Adele. Right now I would put Adele in the S tier. Now this class has everything going for it, right? Flash jump, vertical jump, dash. It has a super good burst skill. Has a good shield utility. Has an iframe that's a 30-second cooldown. This class goes to shit in like a month and a half, 2 months, when Nexon basically strips away um, all of its utility, or not all, but most of it, right? So your iframe turns into blocking 1 skill versus an iframe that lasts for 3 seconds. I don't truly think the class goes to shit. I just think it gets significantly harder to play, and your shield does significantly less shielding. So you have a hyper stat passive that increases the shield to 350% of the damage taken. Um, which is obviously a lot, and now that goes all away. So it gives you damage. So Adele's will hit a little bit harder with 15% damage. Whoa! But honestly, for the people who don't main Adele, the class is honestly hard to maintain optimal damage. Not only do you have to maintain 6 swords, you have to make sure you have 3 swords charged so that your toggles will proc and do the most lines as possible. You have to make sure your resonance stacks are in, so you're getting the final damage buff at all times. There's a bunch of micromanaging, which is I think something a lot of players overlook in the class specifically. I'm not saying the class is bad because the class's damage output is absolutely insane. Um, but yeah, that's why I would give Adele an S rank. And not to mention the mobbing's absolutely correct. Last but not least is Kane. Now Kane just came out, so my ranking here is going to be very interesting. I think I would honestly put Kane around A rank. I don't know too much about its DPS, but its DPS doesn't seem like insane. Just know that the class has a bunch of utility. It has a dash, has kind of a rope lift, um, and there's skills you can empower your own skills, etc., etc. I think the mobbing isn't that bad, especially with those dragon spheres that circle around you. Again, the class just came out, so we might need more time to like truly understand, how Kane works. For me, anyways. I hope I don't offend any Kane mains out there. um, but yeah, whew, this is a long ass video. I think about 40 something minutes. Um, but yeah, that's my class ranking of every class. And if I missed one, please let me know down in the comment section below so that I can update or put its ranking somewhere in here, just so you guys have an idea. But I believe those are the only 3 classes that this ranking's missing. Um, Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, if you enjoyed this content, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a lot. Also know a majority of my viewers are not subscribed. So if you want more Maplestory content, please smash that like button. And please consider giving this channel a follow for more Maplestory content. That's it for this video. I will see y'all next time. Peace!